talking my Bam Margera impression.
This is
going to be such a fucking haggard podcast.
It almost drifts into W territory.
Oh God,
almost.
yeah. I need a. It's been a while since I've done anything.
Oh God, good old Bam Margera. Good Lord.
We just got this weird accent.
It really does. Doesn't
it's a weird. Where do they live? New Hampshire,
Pennsylvania.
Yeah, Pennsylvania. Some weird ass accent.
What's weird to me though is like on Viva La Bam back in the day, it's like, oh yeah, Don Vito, he's the one with the, like, okay, yeah, he talks funny and everything, and yeah, you can't make it out, but let's not pretend like Bam has like I was watching one of my favorite YouTubers around the time Jackass Forever was coming out. He played the Jackass video game. Mm-hmm. And literally there were moments where you could hear Bam's voice over it. It's like, what the fuck did he just say?
Yeah.
Oh, it was awesome. Welcome, everybody, to another edition of the Tougies Take Podcast, where we talk about Bam Margera for a long time. And if we don't leave that in, then welcome again, everybody, to another episode of the Tougies Take Podcast. We are back again. It's us, two of the guys, some of the fellas. Fortunately, Mr. Endo Mills is a little bit under the weather today, so he is taking the day off, which is all well and good. But Sin is here with me to talk about everything that's happened only over the last 2 days because of our availability. We try to still hit 2 shows a week, and we get these shows done when we can, which is why we are here. Sin, how are you? Aside from having played a lot of 2K10 in the past 2 days since the last podcast.
Yeah, it's been great. Yeah, that's been fantastic. No, I've been pretty good. Yeah, I'm just glad that we're having to do this rescheduling thing when not in the first round when there were like twice as many games. So that's nice.
Holy God!
So not having to miss a lot of time.
Series.
Yeah,
one series over already. Thank you very much, Tampa. It definitely makes it a little bit easier to kind of have 2 shows as close together as they are. Now, before we get into talking about, today's topics, viewer questions, and all that, first and foremost, it's been a rough couple days for everybody, right? And, normally, like, there is a very fine balance, and there have been discussions with people who have been involved in the show of what that balance is over time between, hey, serious stuff versus, hey, let's treat this as a podcast, as an escape, whatever. Obviously, the last episode as we were recording, all the stuff broke about what was happening in Texas. And obviously in the days since, it hasn't been that much better. And even in the hockey realm, there's been stuff today that people have asked me, hey, are you going to talk about this? That I'd really... Like, I'm not saying it's not relevant enough to talk about, but it's like, man, I myself, for my own mental health at this stage, just kind of need to shoot the shit with one of my better friends about random hockey shit. In terms of sending best wishes to Brock Besser's family, certainly we do. In terms of the article that Rick Westhead put out in regards to various very serious allegations and a lawsuit that just wrapped up involving Hockey Canada, certainly a serious topic worth the discussion. And then just even today, man, like today has sucked from an entertainment standpoint. Ray Liotta passed away, which is awful. Andy Fletcher from Depeche Mode passed away.
Yeah, I just read that. Fucking hell.
And Alan White, the drummer from Yes, which my dad listened to a ton of.
Didn't even realize
as a kid. He passed away too. Yeah, it was announced like within the last 45 minutes. It's just been a really rough day to the point where, like multiple times today, I've taken my dog for a walk twice today. I'm like, I just need to get away from like online at the moment and just disconnect. You said as much before we started recording. No Twitter for a little bit. Like, it's been an awful couple of days, obviously. So I wanted to just kind of mention all of that to not say that I don't view this and that we don't view those as serious topics worth discussion, but at the same time, we need a bit of levity, for lack of a better term. And what better way to do that than talking about the fact that this show is brought to you by a company that helps you shave your hair, specifically in the pubic region. When in doubt, Sin, bring it back to dick jokes.
Yeah. It's the Old Faithful is what that's what I call mine. No. We'll see how many years it can hold that nickname. We'll see.
There's only one Old Glory in this country, and you're looking at it.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Oh, God. But you know the deal. Manscaped.com, code Tougie at checkout, 20% off your order, free worldwide shipping, all the tools that you are going to need for all of your grooming needs. Man or woman, it is Manscaped, but again, you know, look at what the tools are, think of how you can use them, treat yourself nice. Code Tougie at manscaped.com. As soon as we do, we'll throw it to some viewer questions now, right? Let's get some of that happy energy going, please, God. As always, of course, the description, whether you're watching on YouTube, of course, listening on an audio platform. First and foremost, if you're on YouTube, again, like and subscribe. If you're on an audio platform, rate the podcast. Thank you. Discord, viewer questions. Get involved if you haven't. We have two rather weird ones here. Neither of which are food or hockey related. Well, I guess one's technically hockey related, but not. It's more of a, more of an out there oddball question instead of just like, hey, do you think the Leafs are going to trade for John Gibson? I don't know. We kind of talked about that when the Leafs got eliminated. Might they? Maybe they will. Maybe they won't. First question here comes from Nighthawk, who says, and I quote, "This one's a bit odd, I know," and he's correct, but. If you were tasked with explaining human culture to an alien society, how would you explain hockey and hockey culture?
Weird.
So basically, I take this as it doesn't have to be, little green men from Mars. How do you explain the sport of hockey to somebody who just simply has no experience with the concept?
Oh, man. Well, I read it as, like, someone who's completely unfamiliar with human culture as well, because you have to explain the human culture to them. At least that's how I read it. But
part of it.
For me, it would break it. It's once you kind of get the basics of human culture out of the way, you can just how I explain hockey culture is a way for us to channel our primal instincts, our animal brains into competition, especially, on this to satisfy our need because we don't hunt anymore. We don't need to necessarily defend ourselves physically all the time. Fight for everything. So we channel that into sports, and hockey is no different from that. And how I explain the sport of hockey, I don't know. We decide and then you explain adrenaline and how humans seek these feelings of fight or flight. Now that we live in a way of comfort, you seek that thrill of skating around at 30 miles an hour, and that's how I'd explain it. I'm like. That's me what that meant, like not the rules and shit, but
well, that's fair. Well, no, right? That's what I mean, though. Like, I agree with everything you said, but my take was like, how do you explain to somebody or something that has no concept of hockey what the sport is? Like basketball, object through hoop, good. Soccer, kickball, there, good. Not that tough. Hockey, put knife shoes on your feet on a slippery surface. Have stick. Have other object to hit object into that object.
Yeah, see, they're going to be like, okay, it has a lot to do with putting something in something else. All right.
That is the human condition.
That is the human condition. Absolutely. I went all
Old
deep
Glory,
in it, and you just were like, yeah, here it is, fuckers.
Oh, God. He was right that it's a very, very weird question. But I think we covered all aspects of it. You from the more human condition side of it, and me from just the absurdity of what the sport of hockey is.
Absolutely. I love it.
And it is one of the weirdest sports out there.
Yeah.
I don't lose sight of that. Still the idea that for fun, for money, for prestige, human beings put ice shoe or knife skates, knife shoes on their feet. grab a wooden now
skate around on shit that almost killed us long ago.
Right. We're taking it back.
Taking it back, motherfuckers. Fuck you, Ice Age.
We are the Ice Age now.
We're no mammoths, bitch.
Well, now we need to go back in time and find out if ancient man ever like played hockey with a woolly mammoth tusk or anything like that. That's.
Oh, there's apparently reports of like Vikings playing it with their axes and shit, and just like literally killing people. Like I'm like, I don't know how accurate that is, because there always seems to be some like crazy myth of how sports get started. But it was Native Americans who did invent lacrosse. Of course, the French took it and made it their own. But yeah, people would die in that because it'd be like 100 on 100. Like,
all I can imagine is like an episode. It would have to be a show like Rick and Morty or Family Guy, where it's the Vikings playing hockey back in the day, and all you see is someone winding up for a slap shot, and they just cut the person's head off behind them.
Yeah. Oh, shit.
Oh, God. All right, Hawks. Let's see if you can top that. We go from Nighthawk to Hawks. Confused? Me too. You and the boys can be one supervillain from any media franchise. Who is that supervillain and why? Ooh, that's a tough one.
It's really tough.
That is a tough one. I'm trying to... we didn't have time to prepare for this. I don't know... Oh, man, I don't know who... I do wonder who Endo would choose, but it is the idea of a supervillain.
Yeah, it's really tough.
It is. I mean... Because obviously, like, where is the line drawn between villain and supervillain?
I consider pretty much anyone from like a superhero movie, like comic perspective. Like,
okay,
we consider Batman a superhero, even though he doesn't have superpowers. He's just a rich dude.
Right. So Hans Gruber is not a supervillain.
No, he's just a villain from Die Hard.
Okay, I agree with this. Good. Best supervillain.
Yeah, that's tough. Fuck, man.
Now, where do we lie on the animated side of things? Does it have to be superhero based?
What do you mean on the animated side?
Because my mind went to like Hades from Hercules.
Oh. Yeah, I don't know. I'm assuming he means
realm?
He says from any media franchise. That usually, to my mind, means like DC and Marvel.
Right. Right. That's fair.
But that Hades is pretty.
Well, see,
sick.
that's I'm trying to find the line.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, Hades is like a mythical being, like a mythical deity, mythical villain.
Right. Oh God. Well, then I have to go Batman realm then. Certainly. Batman
what?
And I have to go within the Batman realm.
Oh, yeah.
Now, certainly a lot of people will be like, oh, it's, for Batman, they'll be like, oh, Joker, and you're not wrong.
I'm the Joker, baby.
However, my ultimate, number one, I would love to be Joker from the Batman Arkham series.
He's terrific, yeah.
Just because it was so goddamn enjoyable, especially in the final game.
When he's in your head.
He's just in your head the whole time.
Love it.
But if I could be one supervillain from any media franchise, I would be Jim Carrey's Riddler from Batman Forever.
Nice.
Oh, God. Or even Two-Face in that movie. Because, God, he had... Drew Barrymore was... What was it, like... You remember, like, for Two-Face in that movie, he had, like, the angel and the devil, and they were both super attractive women, and one of them was Drew Barrymore in 1997.
Yeah. Just because Drew Barrymore.
Two-Face might be the way to go for that. I mean, goddamn. I'm trying to remember who the other woman was. I feel so...
I can't remember either.
So bad about that. It's, like, one of my... like. Unironically, one of my favorite movies of all time, Batman Forever. I don't care. Oh, you know who it was? It was Debbie Mazar, who was in like nothing else except for Goodfellas, which is why it comes to mind with the Ray Liotta passing.
Yeah.
That's the only thing that comes to mind. She was Sandy in Goodfellas too. So. Any options for you? Because there's a lot of ways you could go.
Yeah.
Like you could,
I would be.
I don't know.
Forgetting his.
Are you a big Magneto guy? How about some Green Goblin? Like,
see, like I'm forgetting his fucking name now, and it's pissing me off. He's from X-Men First Class, essentially Kevin Bacon's character, who can literally like harness energy and then like do whatever the fuck he wants with it. And I cannot remember his name now because he.
Oh shit! Who are you thinking of?
Yeah. Fucking hell.
Oh,
I'm looking it up because it's pissing me off.
Yeah,
it's right on the tip of my tongue.
I'm going for it too. It was Sebastian Shaw?
Yes, fuck. Shaw.
There it is.
Yeah. Sebastian
Got it.
Shaw. Or an early Magneto would be dope because like moving metal and shit. But I just really, yeah, because honestly, I would go with a telepath, but they're the only interesting ones because I don't know. I think the coolest thing is being able to like harness energy and shit. I think that's dope. And
I mean, and plus any excuse to be Kevin Bacon.
Yeah, absolutely. Except for in that one river rafting movie when he's a piece of shit.
Or God, what the hell was it? What was it? Judgment Day?
Oh, I never saw that.
Oh shit! What was that movie? I'm trying. I gotta find. No, it was Death Sentence. That's what it was. Where literally it's just like the stereotypical, I'm a normal guy, but these gangbangers killed my kids, so now I'm gonna turn into this fucking ruthless. He's basically the Punisher. Mm-hmm. It's Kevin Bacon as the Punisher. He's not a supervillain, but John Goodman plays one of the villains in that movie, and it's fantastic. Go watch Death Sentence.
I always love when
everybody.
people who play good guys play villains. Remember that movie Insomnia when Robin Williams played a bad guy?
Yeah.
That was a trip.
Dude, John Goodman, though, like, he's really good at that. Like, Death Sentence with Kevin Bacon, Cloverfield Lane.
Damn, I never seen
whatever the fuck the numbers were before that.
Never saw any.
Good stuff, though. Very, very good stuff. Oh, my God. Well, thank you, gentlemen, for the questions. Appreciate you tremendously. Oh, God, I didn't think we'd be sitting here talking about that. We could talk about this all day long. All these questions, I've noticed a theme of we could just sit here and be like, hey, let's not talk about hockey for a long time. Let's go back to talking about Bam Margera. Oh, God. Did you ever see... Screw it, let's do it. Did you ever see the, what was it, the special where he went to Finland, up to Rovaniemi to look for Santa Claus?
Yes, yes. All of his shit was so goddamn funny, man. It's really sad the way he just fell off the deep end.
Yeah, I hope he's good. Apparently, I just Googled this. Within the past 3 days, the word is out. He broke his wrist while skateboarding.
Good.
But he is refusing to take pain medication because he doesn't want to go down that route at all.
He fucking believes then. That's good. That's a really fucking good sign.
That's a very good sign.
That's an incredible... I remember when Steve-O did that, I'm like, all right, he's pulling himself out. Like, yeah, that's a really good sign. I saw this interview on Steve-O's podcast with Brandon Novak, who used to... Mm-hmm. Yeah, who was hooked on heroin. And when I go back and watch Viva La Bam, I'm like, oh, holy shit, yes, that man is on heroin.
I thought the same thing, because I have gone back. Like, it's incredible how much he was a part of pop culture for like, our generation, you know?
Yeah, I mean...
Because he really was...
CKY. It was a little early for both of us, but I remember going back and watching some of that. Jackass, mostly. But yeah, when Viva La Bam dropped, man, holy... So good.
What a show, though.
Just so fucking funny, man. Just, there's like, they are getting like multiple 100K a week to just fuck shit up. Like that's amazing. They just had this stupid prop house, literally. Yeah. Well, actually, I guess his parents live in that house, so I guess it was real to some extent. Because I was watching a bunch of different podcasts that Rab does, Chris Rab, and he like went and interviewed his parents, and they were just fucking at that house with the burgers still on the wall. Like the burgers still on like one of his shirts. Like,
oh god, I had to look it up. The first episode of that show came out in October of 2003.
Oof.
Oof. Apparently at least season 1's on Prime Video, so I guess I know what I'm watching.
Oh, I've watched, I literally bought, like, all the seasons, and I'm just like, yeah, I'll just watch them whenever.
I don't blame you. I should do that.
That was goddamn hilarious.
It was a glorious time, everybody. You had to be there. As well, really quickly, before we transition
brushing
into...
her teeth was meat. What meat? Look at it, it's meat!
Jesus.
Fuck, man.
Oh, God. Before talking playoffs, as we shall and as we do, two things. First and foremost, Jaromir Jagr was in the news twice this week. Was involved in a car accident that thankfully he is perfectly fine from. But the second is that he is planning on playing his 35th pro season at 50 years old for Kladno alongside Thomas Plekanec.
He's literally been playing hockey longer than I've been alive.
Yep.
Well, I mean, he actually has, his 35th pro season. Yeah, he's been playing professionally. Literally 3 years longer than I've been on this earth.
Fucking ridiculous.
What a fucking savage, man.
Oh, my God. Now, I know, a big part of that is, his family ties to the team and not wanting them to necessarily go under. But at the same time, he could just be like, hey, I'm the coach. You could still be there, so it's okay, you are an attraction, maybe not to the same extent of I'm on the ice. But you can tell he still plays because he's like, what the hell else am I going to do? I'm Jaromir Jagr.
I'm the fucking all-star. No.
It's absolutely ridiculous. Dude, I'm looking at his credentials. He won bronze in the World Junior Championship in 1990.
Literally my birth year.
Oh my God.
Amazing. Dude,
so the 1990 Under-20 World Juniors, the top three, Canada won gold. You know who finished in second?
No.
The Soviet Union.
That's...
Oh my
that is...
God. And in third place was Czechoslovakia. Oh, that's beautiful. God, no, totally off topic, but fucking Norway finished 6th at 2-5-0. The States finished in 7th at 1-6-0. And then Poland finished 0-7 with 7 goals for and 65 against.
I like it.
Yikes.
Represent.
I want to know who was on that U.S. team because that is horrific. I don't know if I can find that necessarily.
That was really kind of before the U.S. became big in hockey. I mean, they're still really expanding around that time. You think about it. Before that, there were no Sharks, there were no Ducks, there were no Wild, Blue Jackets.
Yeah. Oh, boy. Some of the names from this team, I found it. So you had, the likes of, Tony Amani, Keith Carney, Ted Drury, Bill Guerin. There were some good names on that team. Brian Smolinski.
But young as fuck at that point, huh?
But for every one of those guys, you had Jeff Stolp, Corey Leyland, Sean Kane, Chuck Hughes. Chuck Hughes could have only been from Quincy, Massachusetts.
Charles, no, it's Chuck. It's fucking Chuck. All right.
Oh, God, beautiful. All right, this has been a fun show already.
Yeah.
It's been our most off-topic show, maybe of all time, and I'm very, very happy for that. But with that, let's talk playoffs here, shall we, sir? Actually, no, I almost skipped the topic.
Tortorella.
I almost did. Yeah.
Flyers doing their best.
John Tortorella interviewed for the head coaching position for the Philadelphia Flyers. On one hand, he's 63 and might be a great fit for Philadelphia, just a crotchety old white man. On the other hand, he's a 63-year-old crotchety white man. So it might be the perfect fit. On the other side,
the game's moved on.
Yeah, how many times, I get it at the same time, right? We look at, say, Bruce Boudreau, who is 67 at this point, and okay, he did very, very well. But at the same time, Boudreau's had success more recently than Torts. I'm trying to think of the, what was the last, good
sweeping
season?
Tampa?
He was the GM for that, wasn't he? Or the coach for that, wasn't he?
I think so, yeah. Maybe he wasn't, but
I need to look this up because now I'm not sure.
That was Line. Wait, yeah, Line was still. Wait,
yeah. Wow, he has only been out of a head coaching job for like a year. He was the head coach of the Blue Jackets in the 2020-2021 season.
Huh, crazy.
That doesn't seem possible at all.
I think it's because the 2 seasons flew by so quickly that now that we have like a full season, it feels like so much longer.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Maybe. I mean, the thing that's tough, right, is in an instance like this, we always talk about the coaching carousel, right? And they're like, okay, Philadelphia, John Tortorella, Barry Trotz, this guy, Peter DeVore. And then we always sit there and say, like, hey, somebody new. And then people are like, well, who's that somebody new? And it's like, fuck if I know, because all we know is the same 30 coaches.
Yeah.
Or 32 now. And, a lot of the times, like, you bring up someone from the AHL or the NCAA, it doesn't necessarily work. It doesn't feel like it happens all that often anymore, where, like, a top coach from Europe will come over anymore. But I don't know. I don't think it's the worst. I like to meme it a little bit. I don't think it's the worst move Philadelphia could make. The problem is, what are
you trying to do with the team?
Right.
What's your direction?
Like, he can't make chicken salad out of this. I'm sorry. No. But it's like, you look at that Flyers roster, I don't know where you go from this. I mean, their defense right now on paper is Provorov. Ristolainen's new deal kicks in. 5.1 for 5 years.
Why?
So bad.
Man, that guy's just made a career out of
being big and physical and finish.
Looking good with a black eye.
There you go. But Provorov, Ristolainen, Sanheim, Ronnie Adard, who's 23 out of the NCAA, and Cam York, who's 21, super young out of the NCAA, I do believe as well, and then Nick Seeler. Like, just the defense alone you look at, and it's like, huh. And then obviously there's all the issues up front. Like, if I'm John Tortorella, I don't take that job. I stay with, who is he with, ESPN right now?
He's with someone. Is he still with him? I just saw him like at one time pissing and moaning about Zegers.
Yeah, I think that was with ESPN because TNT has, especially during the playoffs, really kind of pulled ahead in the race for who has the more interesting broadcasts. So
you got Gretz and Biz. And for some reason, they have incredible chemistry. What is it with Gretzky and tough guys, huh?
Bring on Marty McSorley.
Oh God, he was with the Sharks for a while in a color role. That was not great. Right after Drew Remenda left, we're like, let's get Marty McSorley.
Unbelievable. So John Tortorella, 1 season in Philadelphia before he strangles somebody, and ends up back on ESPN. Maybe ESPN 2. You have to separate yourself from him a little bit once that happens.
Sorry.
Dodgeball has ruined ESPN, haven't they?
Yeah.
With the Ocho, like...
That's such a terrific fucking concept, too. Like, most ridiculous thing. That's honestly probably one of the more underrated comedies, just for, like, quotable stuff. Like, it's really good. It's
been one of I've gone back and forth. I've gone back and forth with a lot of movies from the early to mid 2000s. Like, let's be honest, who didn't experience Napoleon Dynamite burnout?
Oh yeah, like, it was funnier to talk about. That movie's funnier to talk about than watch.
I don't think I ever experienced burnout with Dodgeball, though.
Yeah, not really.
It's always been a funny movie. And then a lot of those movies have aged like absolute garbage. Especially like all of the Scary Movie kind of knockoffs.
Oh, I bet, yeah.
Did you see any of those?
You can't, yeah, the problem with that is like it's all topical humor. So once that era is kind of out the window, like, it's not as good. If you're not living it, it's not as good, but...
Yeah, I mean, God, what was the one...
Epic movie was fucking good, though. Like, at least the beginning part where they're doing the X-Men knockoff.
I don't dare watch that again, but yes, I remember. And then there was Superhero movie that had Drake Bell.
Oh, goodness gracious.
In the starring role. It's just, those movies got out of goddamn control.
But they struck with really While the Iron Was Hot, man. They made bank on those, I'm sure.
Well, I mean, shit, superhero movie, $35 million budget, $71 million box office for, like, the cheapest movie you could possibly make. That's just references.
Yeah. Probably didn't even need to hire writers.
Can you tell we don't have too many playoff games to talk about? Let's get to it. We'll start off because Game 5 is tonight. Rangers and Canes played Game 4 on Tuesday, though, with the Rangers winning 4-1, pushing the Hurricanes to what I believe now is 0-5 on the road in the postseason. First and foremost for the Hurricanes. I can't have faith in them winning this series and beating Tampa. You're 0-5 on the road.
Garb.
I don't know.
True contenders don't go 0-5 on the road. You have to win in another building. I don't care if you're 5-0 or 6-0 on the road, wherever the fuck they are.
How do you not even fluke your way into a win against Boston or New York on the road?
That's what's crazy to me. Like, Boston,
especially with how New York struggled against Pittsburgh.
Yeah. Like, what is it about Carolina where I don't know. For me, it's just like, I just want to be that guy. Be like, they're fucking soft if they can't play in another building. If they need the crowd. Like, I understand you want that positive energy behind you, but like, bro, like you have to. Like, it's like you said. At some point, you have to fucking luck your way into a win. They even go to overtime on the road. Like, how the fuck do you not get an overtime victory on the road? Like, it's insane.
It is a wonderful, wonderful question. So I do have a decent amount of. I said they struggled on the road against Pittsburgh, by the way. I mean, they lost Game 1. Did the Rangers to the Penguins, but like case in point, even the Penguins could luck into a road at road win at MSG.
Yeah,
the Penguins
at their third string goalie,
right? Who played in that triple overtime game.
Yeah.
For the Rangers,
the Penguins blew that, man. That was gross. Anyway,
you just keep twisting the knife for Penguins fans. Why not?
Yeah.
You deserve it. We just passed the 5-year anniversary. I saw on Reddit of them beating Ottawa in overtime in the conference final, and what happened next we don't have to talk about.
Yeah, they lifted the cup in our fucking building.
Isn't that the worst?
Oh, yeah, especially when I'm looking at Jumbo and Marlowe just looking so fucking sad. But I mean, to be fair, we had no business like in that series.
Well, no one's gonna meme them like they memed Brad Marchand crying. So
no,
they have too much respect for players like that. Thankfully. Speaking of the Bruins, Andrew Kopp scored again for the Rangers.
It's pretty good.
I hate it. Yeah. In the first period, Jake Trouba and Max Domi were involved in an incident. Jacob Trouba plays the game the right way. Headshots Max Domi, who was losing balance before the hit. So there was no disciplinary action really afterwards, and I agree with it. I get that Trouba's at the center of a lot of kind of incidents like this. At the same time, that's the style he plays, so he will be at the center of a lot of incidents like this. And then at the end of the game, Ryan Reeves started agitating Max Domi, and there was a scrum at the end of it, so Reeves is doing his job. Game 5's in Carolina tonight.
I hope they lose. Just so the house of cards crumbles. But, like, I didn't believe in the Rangers. I still don't. But, like, at the same time, what the fuck is wrong with the Canes? We thought the East was going to be this goddamn meat grinder, and all I'm seeing is these pretenders. And is that just me? It's weird. There's all these issues. And then you have the Lightning. Honestly, the funny part is the Lightning and the Leafs were the two strongest teams coming out of there, which is nuts. And they played in the first round.
100%. Two best teams out of the Eastern Conference based off of their play, their standard of play in this postseason. Tampa and Toronto. The Bruins could not win on the road. Then again, neither could Carolina. Carolina still can't.
They got that home ice, though, baby.
They do. The Rangers beat the Penguins. The Penguins choked. They did. 3-1 lead. I don't care if you're down to Louis Domingue. You could still win that series, and you didn't. The Rangers are only going to go as far as Shesterkin carries them. I will say, great job of picking up Kopp and picking up Vetrano. Yeah. They've both done really well. They addressed that need that they had of oh God, you're scoring. But at the same time, I cannot look at them and say, yeah, I have confidence in you getting past Tampa in round 3.
Yeah.
And then to quickly mention, of course, Florida, who completely shit the bed.
Whoa.
Tampa's making it back to the Stanley Cup final, barring a miracle. It is going to take somebody stepping up either Carolina or New York to prove us wrong. But I mean, dude, they outlast Toronto in 7. They steamroll Florida. How am I supposed to have faith in Carolina or New York to be the ones to guarantee us a new Cup champion? Because I don't think there will be at this point.
I don't think so either. I think we're witnessing the birth of a dynasty. It's like straight up, like a real dynasty, which we have not experienced. We've had the quote unquote modern day dynasty. Chicago maybe, LA borderline, but mostly Chicago with 3 cups in 6 years. But
yeah, Pittsburgh with their back-to-back, and now Tampa is legitimately looking at a three-peat. It's absolute insanity.
I think that's the NHL's thing for a dynasty, right? It's like 3 cups in 4 years, like their official definition or something. I can't remember, but
I feel like that's the general talk.
Yeah.
Or 3. Again, like
in today's day and age,
tough.
I'd say 3 and 5 for like a true dynasty because it's hard as fuck to win the cup in a cap era.
Yeah, like I would consider, Chicago in that realm. Pittsburgh, it was back-to-back years. It wasn't really sustained.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like when the Penguins won at the beginning of the 90s with Yager and Lemieux, back-to-back years, dynasty, I don't know. I feel like you have to have that sustained time.
Yeah.
If you win 3 in a row, that's a good sustained amount of time.
Oh yeah, that's so hard to do.
So, yeah, I don't know who wins Game 5 tonight. To be honest, I'm not really all that excited for the rest of the Rangers and the Canes.
I mean, I haven't watched a single lick of it this series. There's cool shit going on.
The other series have outright been more interesting. This is the least interesting matchup. And even if it was the Bruins and Rangers, original 6, it would probably still be the least interesting matchup. I would be obviously far more eager to watch it as a Bruins fan, but yeah, like this is Tampa's conference until proven otherwise. Bruins! So the Western Conference, we'll just leave that right there where it was. Oilers and Flames. The Oilers won Game 4 on Tuesday night, 5-3. Ryan Nugent-Hopkins had a 2-goal game. He scored 21 seconds into the game because Jake Markstrom forgot how to play the puck. Jake Markstrom, man. Like I need to find. I think was it Audie James on the Twitter. Good dude. I think he was the one that shared the split for Markstrom so far. So in this postseason, Markstrom has a .906 save percentage and a .278 goals against average. It's not that bad, not amazing. Here's the problem. In the Dallas series, he had a .945 with a .153 goals against average.
Yep.
In the Edmonton series, he has an .869.
I would say
from
nice,
a .945 to an .869. From a .153 goals against average
.350
to a 5.2.
Oh no! Oh my god!
Yeah.
Oh my god!
There's a 5.2 in this series, dude.
Shit ton in that first game, and they didn't yank him at any point. Did they? Wait, did they go to Vlade?
No.
Yeah, they didn't go to Darth
Vader. He played
Vader.
The full game.
Yeah,
if I'm not mistaken.
That would kind of tilt the stats, but still, the save percentage is abysmal.
He has been abysmal.
I know maybe XG, whatever the expected goals for, or goals against, whatever, has been quite high on him, and he's saving some above that. But at the same time, still yeah.
I mean, both can be right.
Mm-hmm.
Both can be right that you have a goalie who is bailing his team out, but at the same time is allowing a crap load of goals that he probably shouldn't be allowing.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the thing. Like, where's the stat for soft goals? Do they have one of those in analytics? There's so many fucking analytics I can't.
And then what defines
that?
And
how do you quantify that? Yeah, that's
right.
we just.
He needs to be better.
Yeah.
He's a Vezina caliber goalie who's not been at his best at all. And in general, it's not just this series. Sportsnet, literally, as we're talking, just posted this on Twitter. Jacob Markstrom's last 8 games against the Oilers, so like this regular season and playoffs, 3-5 record, .437 goals against average, and an .867 save percentage. The Oilers have scored 5 goals in 7 of their 8 games against Markstrom in that time. He has not been good enough. The team in front of him hasn't been good enough. He has not been good enough. Both can be true. And, like, look, I have my concerns about the Oilers. Calgary struggling this badly. I get Tampa's not exactly the same style with the same amount of speed, but at the same time, man, I'm fully on board. Like, I cannot see Calgary winning 3 in a row.
Not against McDavid. I can't. Not this McDavid. He's at that age now. He's approaching his prime. Like, he's like a year off of technically the prime, but he is playing the best hockey of his life, and look what he's doing in the playoffs. If he's gonna fucking win that game, he's gonna win that game. Like, I am like firmly on the Edmonton bandwagon right now. I want to see them get to the finals, and they can do it. And I never fucking thought in a million years I'd be saying that at the beginning of the season or the beginning of the postseason, because I thought the Kings would take it in 7. They almost did, but still.
So, in this game as well, Evander Kane, another 2-goal effort. He has 12 goals now this postseason. He's been incredible.
He's going to get paid. Actually, I hope he gets paid so that everyone can realize he's going to go back to doing the same fucking shit. But he's on a big heater right now. He's shooting 26%, so it's not sustainable.
No.
But
let it ride for as long as it lasts. Yeah. Leon Draisaitl, also with an assist in the game, became or a couple of assists, I believe. He became the first player in history with 4 consecutive 3-point games. Nobody else in the history of the playoffs has ever had 4 consecutive games with at least 3 points.
Is it German?
Outrageous. And Mike Smith allowed a goal, as I typed it on the our run sheet here, from downtown. Rasmus Anderson scores from the other side of the ice, and Mike Smith charges out of his crease, like, hands up, like, what are you doing, teammates?
Who the fuck let that shot get through?
Why didn't you cover that fucking... That was your guy!
Oh. I'm sure they had a good laugh at it afterwards once they won.
He even said in a post-game interview that he could laugh about it now, but just that moment of, like, I have to blame somebody because I fucked up.
Yeah, I know that. Everyone knows that feeling. Like, your first initial thing is to be like, well, who the fuck did that? Oh, me.
Right, yeah. Gods, who fucked up before my fuck-up that I can blame? Yeah. There you go. Daryl Sutter said after the game, and I quote, "Maybe our guys are doing everything they can, but maybe Edmonton's guys are just better."
Interesting thing to say. He's had some interesting quotes.
Very throughout this series, yeah.
I kind of like the candidness, but at the same time, like, is that filling up your players with a bunch of... Like, I don't know. I don't know what is his angle. Maybe he doesn't fucking have an angle, and the guy just says shit. Like, I think how he is. He's just like, this is what it is. Like, he doesn't have an angle. He doesn't... Yeah.
This is how I see it, screw you, versus maybe it is, like, his way to just try and motivate this team and get that bit of a spark, but...
Yeah, who knows?
Game 5 is tonight.
In Calgary.
Does the series end tonight?
It's tough. I don't know. I'm gonna watch it, like, because I've watched every single game of this series. It's been that good. It could. It very well could. Markstrom doesn't give me a lot of confidence. The Flames simply can't keep up in any way with Edmonton. They can't defend them. They can't keep up with their offense, really. So what are they gonna do? The refs are. Here's the thing. I think the refs are gonna let a lot of shit go tonight, which may benefit the Calgary a lot, because they have a lot of guys who can, like, keep Edmonton off the power play. How many power play goals do they have in this series? That's a good. I want to look that up, because I feel like I've seen them on the power play a decent amount of time. Not that they've always scored on it, but it gives them a shit ton of momentum because their power play is so good.
That's a very good question. Hockey Reference will often have
look that up,
that
Jamie.
Information. Yeah, Jamie, look that up. I'm a gigantic fucking idiot, so I ask you to look up everything. Thank you. Oh, God. Let's see. So, the Game 1, Game 2, Game 3, and Game 4 summary. So, Game number 1... Oh, they don't have it in, like, pure, just outright, like, oh, this amount of numbers. So, hold on. I'm having to look it up a little bit. There might be a proper series summary. Here's up 3-1. I'm looking, I swear.
That's fine.
It is a little bit difficult to find,
That's
at
fine.
least in simple terms. But I do have Game 1 here. Let's see. So, wow. So Game 1 was the fucking absurd one.
Yeah.
Where there was a lot of brawling. God, yeah, I'd have to count this out at this stage.
Yeah.
So what are you saying? How many penalties on Calgary specifically?
Well, no. I was just gonna say how many times have the Oilers capitalized on the power play? Like how many times have they taken advantage of the power play? That's what I was looking for, like power play goals.
Power play goals. Let's see. Game number 1,
Edmonton power play
0.
goals. Edmonton had 0 power play goals in Game 1.
Apparently. Game 2, power play goal, Evan Bouchard.
Mm-hmm.
Game 3, no power play goals. Game 4, hold on, let me make sure I went to the right team there. I did not. I went to Calgary. Game 3, no power play goals. And then Game 4, 2 power play goals, Hyman and Kane. They have 3 power play goals so far this series.
Yeah, not bad. I expected more. I thought that first one would maybe inflate it, but yeah, I think the last game probably gave me the recency bias to be like, they're fucking just killing the power play. Either way, obviously Edmonton's power play is ridiculous. I think they might let a lot of clutch and grab stuff go on McDavid, but honestly, at this point, I think he's too good to really give a shit anymore.
I think he's adjusted.
Yeah, I really think he has.
It's that attitude of like, fuck it, you're going to do whatever you want. I don't care. I'm still going to score.
Yeah, like he's way, like, it's crazy to me that we kind of thought that might bring him down. You know, it's not crazy because we expect this guy to be human and expect him to be like anyone else. If you're getting hindered, like that could slow you down, but he just keeps getting better and he keeps being able to find ways to do whatever the fuck he wants anyway. Man, to be able to see the game as he does, I think would be a privilege just for a day.
No kidding. So, obviously, Calgary has to win tonight. I do feel like if this series goes back to Calgary for Game 7, they have it. But I don't think they're getting there. They're going to win 2 in a row just to get that situation. I'm not banking on it at that stage. So, I love Darryl Sutter. I like a lot of what the Flames have done this year, but 3-1 against Connor McDavid and company. Oof.
Tough.
The St. Louis Blues staved off elimination last night, beating Colorado 5-4 in overtime. The Avs still have a 3-2 series lead. First and foremost, I do want to mention Craig Berube. Now, he did issue his apology, finally. Says that he wasn't, basically his initial press conferences where he said no comment, look at his reputation, or he said look at his reputation after the game. The next day he said no comment. And now a day after that, he's like, oh, okay. He says he wasn't aware of the racial stuff, but does say he heard of a, quote, threat made. So, okay, let's say somehow you did not hear of the racial aspect. You still didn't feel the need to condemn the fact that threats were being made towards a player? You know? You still didn't feel the need to do that? But he does eventually apologize, mentions his Native American heritage and that he's suffered, racial abuse as a result of that as well. Just, I don't know, man. I don't know.
This stinks a lot like the changing statements from Chicago during all that stuff. When we get a chance here, our PR team, here's a new statement. Like, for me, it's always first impression, and that matters a lot. And his first impression was to just be like, it's not my issue. And that, to me,
I'm sorry, but that's... that I get it. Like, hey, we as humans, you can have your first response and then regret that response. It's part of the reason as to why, like I've mentioned, I was one of those jersey collectors that had 32 of 32, one jersey from every team. That's not the case anymore. Like I said before, I listed up that Chicago Blackhawks jersey. I've had it listed for months at a price where I'm like, if it goes, it goes, and it finally went. I have no desire to. It was a Patrick Kane, and I have no desire to have that jersey anymore. And might not have a Chicago jersey again until they, come out with a different logo. That'd be cool. Come out with an alternate jersey that just says Hawks, like the Tampa Bay Lightning used to have bolts. I'll buy that one. But in the meantime, nah. And a big part of the reason for that is Patrick Kane and Jonathan Toews essentially immediately jumping to Bowman's defense when they're just like, oh, but he's a great guy. It's not the guy I know. That type of bullshit. Where it's like, hey, look, you're allowed to have that response, but at the same time, you're in the position that you're in, and a more nuanced response is required, especially, even if that's how you feel. You have had plenty of media training in your 10-plus year careers. It rubs you the wrong way. Same way with this Berube comment. Rubs you the wrong way. It's water under the bridge now. It is what it is. Fuck it. I mean, it doesn't help my opinion of the guy at all, but I'm not going to sit here on every show and rag on the guy.
Yeah.
Fans in Colorado showed up too with support for Nazem Kadri. A lot of signs, around the glass and stuff like that. So, good stuff there. The game itself, Colorado was up 3-0 and blew that lead despite 2 goals from Nathan MacKinnon in the first period. The Blues tied it late at 3-3, only for Nathan MacKinnon to secure the hat trick off of one of the greatest goals I have ever seen. There was a lot of talk, in regards to my hot take earlier this season about not feeling like a certain Connor McDavid goal was the greatest thing I had ever seen for this, that, or the other. Nick Leddy might not be the best defenseman in the world, but Nick Leddy was in perfect position and got absolutely destroyed.
Yeah.
Absolutely destroyed. This was, especially the magnitude of the goal, that stage of the game, potential series clincher. Holy shit, the nuts on Nathan MacKinnon to go end to end and score a fucking goal like that. Unbelievable.
And his team just fucking lets him down, man. Like, I'm sorry, this was horrible. And this is only going to feed the narrative that Avs can't close out a fucking series. And honestly, this is the kind of thing that the Blues rally around and come back from. I know this firsthand. Speaking of hands, it was the hand pass. We didn't win a single game after that. You just gave them all kinds of hope, and you gave them the mental edge. Colorado, you're
heading home for Game 6 now.
Oh yeah, you are so bad for doing that. Like, that is inexcusable. Honestly, blowing that is inexcusable. Blowing 3-goal lead bad enough. Your captain then goes superhero, puts you ahead with not much time left, and you still again allow them to come back. And Cale Makar was god-awful in his own end. I'm calling him out. I've hyped him up all year. He was god-awful in his own end at the tail end of that game. Why the fuck was he out in there in all those situations? He was god-awful. No fucking way he should win the Norris. I know it's a regular season thing. I already had the opinion he shouldn't win the Norris, but good God. I know his analytics are pretty decent defensively. I don't see it anytime when I've watched him. I don't know.
2 things. First and foremost, just so Avs fans don't get mad, yes, Sid knows Landeskog's the captain, not MacKinnon. Shut up, it's fine.
Did I say Captain MacKinnon?
Yeah, you did, but he might as well be the
He should be the captain. Why the fuck is Landeskog
on the team?
Captain? Lol.
I mean, he's been the captain since he was 19 years old.
Yeah, that's very true. I remember that now.
I completely agree with you. I mean, Robert Thomas tied it with 56 seconds left. Makar was on the ice, and I saw Avs fans screaming like, this isn't the time to score. Why is he out there? Like, if Makar is out there, I presume Devon Toews is out there too, who is very solid defensively, but he can only cover so much of the ice. You have a second pairing of Jack Johnson and Josh Manson. Normally, you don't argue to put those guys on the ice over Toews and Makar, but in a situational setting, big, veteran, experienced players will protect the front of the net better than Cale Makar would. Put Devon Toews out there with Eric Johnson, the biggest defender on that team, and just get Eric Johnson to protect the fucking slot, because St. Louis is going to go for dirty goals.
Yeah.
Or not dirty goals, but grindy, gritty goals.
Yeah,
I mean, dirty
blue
goals
collar
as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, there you go.
Crazy.
And then Tyler Bozak wins it in overtime. Now, say what you want about these percentages from Money Puck. The Avs had a 94% chance and then a 98% chance to win before both of the comeback goals.
All these moments, I always wish I put like $10 down on the opposite thing. Like that's the only. This is the only reason I would ever do sports betting is just so like I can look at the horrible percentage and just throw money that I don't need at like the opposite. It just
bet $5, win 50.
Yeah.
Right. Like that. Honestly, I am going to endorse this. If you're a smoker, take that money you would spend on cigarettes, put it on the underdog of every game, and odds are you're going to have a better outcome in life. You might end up with a gambling habit, but you're going to have. You're going to have better health more than likely.
Yeah. As Norm
I'm joking, by the way, kind of.
McDonald said, rest in peace. He said, gambling is the only problem where you can win a bunch of money.
He's not wrong. So, in terms of this series, if it gets back like this, if it gets back to Colorado for Game 7, they can obviously still win it. You need to win this in Game 6.
Yeah, you got to stop.
Like, this is your chance. Say what you want about the injuries last year, and that's why we fell apart against Vegas. The narrative is starting to get there that this team cannot take that extra step. You know, I'm not saying if they fail to blow up the core or anything like that, but it just goes to show that there would be more work for the team. This is a tremendous opportunity. Game 6 on the road to make a statement. Shut everybody up, head into the conference final, likely against Edmonton. We get McKinnon versus McDavid. The winner plays Tampa in the Stanley Cup final because I'm not betting on Carolina or New York to be able to beat Tampa. And that's what I want. I want a Tampa against either Colorado or Edmonton Stanley Cup final.
That's what I
want to see. And I said this to you last night on Twitter. I want to see if McDavid or McKinnon and the offense surrounding them can beat Andrei Vasilevsky. Yeah. And if they can't, put Andrei Vasilevsky in the Hall of Fame this summer.
Yeah.
Because we might as well fucking save time.
He's insane. Yeah, it's nuts.
Oh, goodness. So with that, I look forward to us being wrong about both results tonight. It's going to be a real fun time. We will be back next week. Not entirely sure when. Keep an eye out on the Discord and on Twitter. Sin and I have ridiculously busy schedules at this point, thanks to our obligations in the esports commentary world with our friends at SportsGamer. That's sportsgamer.gg. And again, we're like 2.5 weeks away. Something
from being in
ridiculous
Finland.
Like that, from being in Finland, which is
nuts.
Ridiculous. And again, the podcast will do what we can. There is a very good chance that, the Stanley Cup final will be going on, and we might not be able to have podcasts up to cover it, but we will cross that bridge when we come to it. Sin, on the way out of here, what do you got going on? I can't imagine it's too much different from what you had going on 2 days ago.
Yeah, same thing. Follow me on Twitter at SinFTWProd. Follow me on the YouTube side of things, Sin for the Win Productions, and on Instagram at Paul Cinders, as well as on Spotify, Apple Music, and all that stuff. Paul Cinders. My music is up. And yeah.
There you go. At Tougie24 everywhere, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you again so much for listening to the show. A big shout out, and a scout out to Manscaped. Code Tougie, 20% off. You know the deal. We will see you next week. Everyone's sending your, he's not in serious health issues, but send your get wells to Endo Mills, and he'll hopefully be back with us next week. Until then, goodbye, and God, what callback do I want to go with to end this?
And ever since I was a kid, I wanted to be a gangster. Oh, no, that's the wrong line. For as long as I can remember, I wanted to be a gangster. There we go.